Welcome back. This is the Daily Brief. Let's now, like I'd mentioned to you at the beginning of this live broadcast, we began with the good news that Kenya, specifically Nairobi, has actually been selected by the IAAF to host the athletics under 20 championships in 2020. Now, Karen Kibet joins me live to just take us through what exactly this means. Karen, I can see you're all smiles just because of this good news. For you in the sports team, and what does it mean for the nation? Just take us through.
Thank you very much, Ian Wafula. It's a bright Sunday, Friday morning where we all got the great news from the World Athletics Governing Body, IAAF, that Nairobi is the selected city that will host the IAAF World Under-20 Championships. This is a great deal for Kenya following that we had successfully hosted the World Under-18 Championships. And just to quote what the IAAF President Sebastian Coe said, he noted that the Kenyan government's strong support for the Nairobi bid and said that this would be the ideal city and country to host the championships. And during the recent visit to the IAAF headquarters in Monaco, the Principal Secretary Karimi Kabera is the one who actually went forward to really bid for Kenya, and he, at least what he said, caught the attention of the president. He said that athletics is a very important part of our life. Everyone loves athletics in Kenya. You saw it during the World Under-18, and you will see it again in the World Under-20 in 2020. So following what the Under-18 did, the president was highly, he was impressed, following that the 60,000 city stadium was filled to capacity, and just not filled to capacity, the whole place was filled. And he said that Kenyans have a very huge bracket of youths between the age of 15 to 20. So this will provide a great platform for these under-20 athletes who will be here on July 5th to 12th in 2020 for the World Under-20 Championships. And looking also at what the Cabinet Secretary Rashid Echesa said, he said that on behalf of the Kenyan government, I would like to say that we welcome the decision that has been reached by the IAAF top brass to settle on the Republic of Kenya to host the prestigious IAAF World Under-20 Championships in the year 2020. It is indeed a great honor to be considered and selected to host the event. On behalf of the Kenyan government, I assure you that we will ensure that we put our best foot forward and put the necessary plans, systems, structures in place to ensure that the event runs smoothly and successfully. We welcome the world to Kenya. So, and it should be noted that as the World Under-18 Championships were underway the last time, it was marred with so much conflict, but all those conflicts eventually, culminated to a great successful championship. So we are hoping that this time, since they have known about this successful endorsement in 2018, that they will be able to host a successful event, an event that won't have last rush minutes in terms of construction, in terms of ensuring that every structure in the Kasarani Stadium is put in place. And it should be noted that the stadiums are currently under construction, so we are praying and hoping that we won't have the last minute rush come this time. And also, definitely the Athletics Kenya President, General Jackson Tuwei, had something to say. What did he say? He said that the Executive Committee of Athletics Kenya, athletes, and the entire athletics fraternity are very excited to receive the good news from the IAAF that Kenya has been selected to host the World Under-20 in 2020. It is indeed a great honor to us all, particularly the great athletes who have significantly contributed to the development of the world athletics over the years. All are welcome back to Kenya, the home of the heroes, and definitely we won't let it go by. The president of the president of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, has also taken it to the social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, all his accounts, to acknowledge the fact that Kenya was endorsed for this particular championship, and he has promised that the government support will come in handy to ensure that this particular championship will be a success. Not only the president, also the deputy president and other leaders in the country have also taken to congratulate Kenya for having successfully, bagged this particular rights to host the under-20. So it will be very interesting to see, as from 2018 till 2020, how Kenya and the officials, the local organizing committee, how they will come together and make sure that this particular championships will also be a success. And it should be noted that just a few weeks ago, the World Under-20 team went to Finland and they were actually number 1. They defeated USA, who have been bagging this particular title for over the last decade. Kenya went there and registered impressive results, and they actually were the champions of the World Under-20 championships. So it's a clear indication that Kenyans are, with no doubt, the home of champions. They are the athletics powerhouse. So it will be very interesting to see how everyone will come together and how this particular under-20 IAAF World Under-20 Championships will be. What else have I left out? It should be noted that this particular event will be attended by almost over 25 countries from all over the world, and Kenya will definitely be out to to defend their title, which they won recently in Finland. So Ian Wafula, it's a great honor for Kenya. This is a very big deal in the athletics world, and we will be keen for the next 2 years, to let our viewers know how this particular bid, what we have and how it will progress, and eventually when the championship comes, we will definitely be there to cover that. So Ian Wafula, back to you in studio. We will, and just right now we'll be going to the Principal Secretary's office, where we will officially have a brief of this particular great news that we received today on Friday morning. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much. You can obviously see the excitement with Karen Kibet as she talks about the build-up to the World Under-20 Athletics Championships set to be held right here in Nairobi. Definitely a great move, and of course something good for the country. President Kenyatta says he welcomes the world into the country. To react to these and other stories, joining me right now to start from my father's right, we have Nyamongo Osfungus, who's a constitutional expert. We also have Wambui Nyutu, recently appointed to the Irrigations Board as director, senior political analyst Benjin Dolo, as well as Eric Ragalo, political and current affairs analyst. Now, before get your views in regards to the IAAF, let's listen into Nairobi County Governor Mike Sonko Mbuvi, who's addressing residents of Kariobangi after the sewer line in that particular area burst. Let's listen in.
Ni Sirio nilikuwa na pesa ngapi? Ni pesa nyingi. Zilikuwa ndio nimeweka stock nyingi, nimesema nini? Kama 100. Mbona unaangalia mzee? Unaangalia tutawasaidia. Sina kadi, mimi nafanyanga ya mtu. Mimi si andiki. Mimi kazi yangu ni kukaa tu hapa, na hii broti si yangu, ni ya mzee tu kama wewe. Akanipatia nafasi niweke hapa, na akaniruhusu niweke hii kioski. Unaona hapa iko kioski hii. Hiyo kioski itasaidia mimi. Hakuna kazi unafanya nini, tutaangalia vile tutasaidia. Na mimi nasikia tu wewe unasema hii kioski yote ibomolewe. Mimi nikibomolewa hii nitakwenda wapi? Unajua sasa kwa hii line mzee, unajua pia saa zingine wacha tudili na ukweli. Sawa. Kama tunataka kuwasaidia ukweli, lazima zile viongozi ziko kwa sio wale tutautoa. Hiyo lazima. Unless tuko serious na kuwasaidia. Lakini hatuta kutoa kwa njia mbaya. Tupatia notice tukupeleke mahali mzuri. Tutakuangalia mahali nyingine mzuri, tukotea biashara, uendelee na biashara. Lakini kama iko kwa sio wale, unajua kwa sio wale lazima tutatoa. Bila hivyo hii shida hapa Kariobangi haitaisha. Hapana. Hawezi kuiza. Lazima hizo vitu ziko kwa swala tutoe, swala ni bomolewe, tu upgrade. Yes.
ndio iweze kuaccommodate hizi magorofa sasa tunajenga Nairobi. Lakini tukileta siasa hati watu wasitolewe kwa siwa hatutasaidika. So pia kuna wakati tutafanya kazi kwa serikali. Kama
pia hata tutatoa wapi? Pia si sewage pia hata mvua ile kumenyesha. Tunaathirika pia sana.
Drainage system huko ni mbaya.
Ni mbaya kabisa.
Hiyo ni mzuri, msigirole mzuri, tutasaidia lakini dawa mtapikiwa leo, alafu hiyo mambo mengine pia tutaangalia.
Tukiacha na tukitoa tumeshika uchafu sana.
Tutaangalia hizo cereals tutawanunulia biashara tuwape kidogo. Sasa hivi mwaletea blankets na chakula. Wapi wewe chief officer hiyo vitu? Kwa gari. Utaenda kwa chief na dio. Sawa. Alafu wapatie wote sub county admin. Wafanye hiyo kazi ya kupatia.
Kama unaona mabibi yake bado ni wazee, hana issue. Wote ndio watoa kwa mama. Wote ungeingia ndani uone. Kama alipabaya hata mimi nikijitetea hata hawa na watoto kimekibani. Mbona turuka hapa takiwa kuna corona zina. Sasa ndio ya wazee. Hiyo national government inawashughulikia wazee pesa yao. Lakini vile mimi niko hapa kama governor, wacha mimi nitapenda pesa yao.
Questioning exactly what the engineers and, part of, okay, we're going to take that off the screen now. We shall keep you up to speed about what is happening, but the governor is reacting to the fact that the sewer line in Kariobangi burst yesterday, and of course the residents have been complaining that he's gone to that particular area with county engineers as well. We shall keep you up to speed. Now, like I'd mentioned to you earlier, I introduced my panel. Kenya is set to host the Under-20 IAAF championships right here in Nairobi. Just very quick comments, guys. I'll start with actually the only lady on my panel. Wambui, I'll start with you. Perhaps your very quick comment on that. President Uhuru Kenyatta says he welcomes the world to Kenya.
Yeah, thank you, Ian, for hosting us today. I think this is a milestone for Kenya. And given that Kenyans are the world champions, undisputed world champions on athletics, I think it's time, it's time that we host one of these top games. So indeed, it's a welcome move, and we hope now there's a chance for the Ministry of Sports to, prepare enough to host the world to Kenya, so that maybe even in future we can even host other sports like the World Cup. We need, better or more improved stadiums that can host as many games or sports as possible. It's a milestone. It's a great move.
Thank you very much. Nyamong, what about you?
From where I sit, I think this is one of the prolific steps that the Kenyan government has embarked on. So my urge is to the sports ministry to put in mind fair competition and merit as the basis for appointments, for training and for the advancement of the sports industry in Kenya.
Okay, thank you. Benji, just a quick one, and then Eric.
I completely agree with Madam here.
Yeah.
We should just obviously take this opportunity to really improve and ramp up our performance in sports, our infrastructure, the big 5 stadia that had been promised by the Jubilee government, so that such, standard achievements can just be very much normal, nothing outstanding. So just have the stadia, and then aspire to host and improve on other things such as our sports, so that eventually we can host something like the World Cup. Those are actually my exact thoughts.
Eric, you have a final word on that, and of course we're reacting to this.
We are not supposed to be always telling the government, we are requesting, we are telling you, we are asking you. As at now, my panelists, we should be having stadiums, we should be having improved security, we should be having improved transportation. Jubilee government promised 5 stadiums for 5 years before election. We actually got the worst stadiums I've ever seen. They were not the best. Later, during the second election, they promised 9 stadiums. Okay. We watched.
So who should we ask in front of the government?
What we saw was stones being thrown to people, not stadiums being made. So now, we should not be asking them for stadium. It should be there.
Okay.
So we should not be asking Benji, why are you asking for a stadium? Are they not knowing that we have all these things in the, as part of the government?
Okay, thank you, Eric. And of course, that's not our main discussion. Let's move over to this. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has issued tough new rules to guide members of Parliament. And of course, this is all to do with matters of conduct of the parliamentary committees. Now, in an advisory issued Thursday evening, parliamentary committees will no longer be allowed to carry out parallel investigations with state investigating agencies to prevent the duplication of roles and wastage of public resources. Members have also been barred from having cozy relations with witnesses before and during hearings. Chemutai Goen reports.
Nearly every day, committees appear reactionary and agenda setting, inarguably based on either on the threading media reports or active investigations by other state agencies.
Valid concerns over the integrity and conduct of House committees by Gembe North MP Mao Kamaore over what he termed as the insatiable appetite for headlines that seemingly rattled his colleagues.
That as a House we should muzzle ourselves. Never. Hakuna. Haiwezekani. Kotire.
If we entertain, then we shall have really done injustice to these committees and to the public in general, Mr. Speaker.
What parliamentary committees do, including the oversight ones, is that they recommend actions to respective institutions.
While it is good to be seen to be working, of what value would parallel investigations add?
The matter would later resurface when the Joint Committee presented its progress report on the sugar scandal, which was trashed by the House, with friends of the committee being accused of usurping its meetings, while members were cited for being cozy with witnesses.
Listen to the committees. It is just a joke.
A matter that has now forced Speaker Justin Muturi to issue guidelines on how committees will operate to avoid duplication of duties and claims of rent-seeking by MPs. Going forward, committees will be required to suspend an investigation if the Director of Public Prosecutions prefers charges on persons of interest. Members must also declare their interest in any matter under investigation. Only the Sergeant-at-Arms or the Secretariat will usher in and escort witnesses, with the clerk being the only officer allowed to approve external funding for an investigation. Priority will be given to members of the committee as opposed to non-members otherwise referred to as friends of the committee. Chairpersons of committees should also report any misbehavior to the Speaker for action, while members have also been barred from discussing the merits of a matter under consideration. It now remains to be seen whether MPs will heed to the directive, even as the august House attempts to salvage its reputation following increased criticism by the public. Chemutai Goen K.
Do you simply support the move by the leadership of the National Assembly? A warning to members of Parliament: do not be cozy with the witnesses. And perhaps one of the biggest stories that we are following from the National Assembly is that the fact that the Joint Committee of Trade as well as Agriculture has been probing matters contraband sugar, and they're set to give their detailed report from their findings. Ombui, do you support this particular move? There has been concern that members of Parliament have not been objective at the committee level.
Yeah, and I think it's time we restore the integrity of the National Assembly as well as that of the Senate. Because we have seen, and I know there is an MP who once confessed that whenever there is a probe on any of these members, they come and give them 100,000, 200,000, so that they can influence the outcome of the results. And this cannot be tolerated. I mean, you are investigating a matter on corruption, and you're being corrupt. You know, it cannot lead the country anywhere.
Okay, Nyamongo, let me hear from you. Have you, in your opinion, been finding any sense in the investigations being done by members of Parliament?
There is no sense at all. I mean, the first batch, lot or group of people to benefit from the allotment of the sovereign power of the people in accordance with the Article 1, Sub-Article 2 are the members of a parliament, i.e., the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. But when these parliamentarians expose incompetence and suitability in making decisions by favoring their men through nepotism, other improper practices, and corruption, it is a mockery to the sovereign will of the people. Consequently, the legislature is contemplated as a part of the 18 chapters in Chapter 8. Chapter 8 is made up of 5 main parts. Part 1 contemplates establishment and role of Parliament. 2, composition and membership of Parliament. 3, offices of Parliament. 4, procedures for enacting legislation. 5, Parliament's general procedures and rules. And lastly, 6, attracts miscellaneous. Now, Article 124 contemplates committees and standing orders. This very article is read together with Article 119, right to petition the Parliament. I will aver that we have had worse and so acrimonious parliamentary committees since independence. One.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Let me hear from, very briefly, from Benji as well as Eric. Then we take a short commercial break.
It is Oluke John who averred in Parliament, in front of camera, pouring tea, that look at the quality of tea in this Parliament. It has no milk. Of course I take bribes, as myself, as an MP. Of course in the committee I take 200,000. Sometimes they give 100,000. We take it. It was Oluke John. I think he's from Sirisia. So just to clarify Madam's point here. So that is disgraceful. I'm also proud, Ian, to be really the first Kenyan on record who raised the issue of this coziness between MPs grilling as subject. And that was during the Kidero grilling, where the former governor was accused of so much corruption, is reputed to be extremely wealthy, having a lot of money, owning a lot of property all over. And then he comes into Parliament to be asked very serious questions because the Auditor General's report is identifying some 20-something billion shillings.
There has also been concern about the money in which these questions are being asked. And in terms of...
So why cozy up to your subject? And then, get... It, of course, the presumption is in between that coziness. Then you say, oh, madam, for this, on irrigation, maybe give me some 300,000 here, etc. It's wrong, it cannot stand, and it has really brought the entire House.
So are you in support of the Speaker here?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Let me hear from you, Eric.
We know we are what we are because of who the people we voted.
Correct.
So first, we are the most corrupt people, the voters. We were corrupted to vote the corrupt. So if we complain these people are corrupt, before you queued, you are given something to queue. I want to be honest here that we are the most corrupt before we point a finger on an MP. First of all, in the next election, are you able to change your mindset? If you change your mindset, then Kenya will be like the time the owner of Facebook was put on camera in the United States for grilling. You could see that young man around our age sweating, and is one of the richest, top 10 richest people in the world. He could have paid everyone there good amount of money, which even our own billionaires can't pay. But because someone is 100 million shillings rich, an MP want to bow down Igwe, that is wrong. So as we bow down to them,
we have something to say before we take a short commercial break. Just quickly, kindly.
Ian, as much as there is also the costliness, I think the MPs also take the issues too far when they grill some of these suspects. And a suspect is presumed innocent. But some MPs take the opportunity to even show malice and harass these particular people. So maybe they have a two-way thing, that maybe if you don't give them bribes, they will harass you and embarrass you in front of cameras.
Okay, thank you. We're taking a short commercial break, and when we come back, the question is, has the National Assembly and, Parliament in general been compromised? Is a question that we will be tackling right after the break as we continue to follow further developing stories. Stay tuned.